Hey, this is Nerdy Text Encounter. I was just thinking about why do studios not use the expanded universes of their intellectual property when making films. I thought of a few reasons why the studios do this. The first is the human factor. The Alien franchise is suffering from this. Ridley Scott has a lot of control over the franchise and is letting his pride get in the way. An example would be the cancellation of Alien 5. It would have been directed by Neil Blomkamp, the guy who did Chappie and District 9. I don't know how good he would have been, so I can't comment on that. But I've heard that the storyboard and artwork that would have been done, or that was very good, so who knows, it could have been good. Pretty much. Ridley Scott said that he didn't want any other Alien movies to be made until after he finished his prequels. And Alien 5 would have retconned Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection to where they wouldn't happen, which a lot of people would have liked. The Alien prequels have damaged some of the expanded universes, and instead of just looking for them to inspiration, like with aliens having a home planet, them being interconnected with predators for thousands of years, Ridley Scott just threw all that built up over the years, all those stories, just to make confusing movies, prequels that even original, diehard Aliens fans do not really enjoy. Star Wars went through a similar thing with George Lucas and his prequels. However, those prequels didn't destroy the original films or the rest of the franchise. And well, now Star Wars is having something else infected. Another thing that humans do is ideology, and identity politics have entered Star Wars. Another franchise that has been infected by the identity politics and ideology is Star Trek, specifically Star Trek Discovery. And I haven't seen Star Trek Discovery, but I've seen reviews, and it just does not look like it would be for me, or it doesn't even fit in the Star Trek universe, well, the TV universe. I guess the three newest movies are its own, I guess, alternative side universe, I guess, and this follows that one instead. It's just really sad to see that these two franchises that have novels, comic books, video games, all based from those intellectual properties, and they're just putting politics in just for the purpose of putting the politics in, instead of writing a good story that we have lots of. So it's just one of the sadder things I think of, and it's just rather sad that they didn't use any of the other stories that they have. Now we'll get into more the technical and possibly legal side of why businesses might not want to use expanded universe for their intellectual property. And these reasons could very much vary more than the human factors. One reason I could think of would be, how does the studio connect all the different runs of their IP, especially if they're made by different studios, different publishers. Robocop would be a good example. It has been printed by Marvel, Aviator Press, Avatar Press. My bad. I don't own any of those published by Avatar Press. Dark Horse Comics, Dynamite Entertainment, and the most recent ones are by Boom Studios. The way that they can bring all these runs together could be that they hire people who know the material very well and create a timeline, each individually one based on the movies, and have the Marvel run, where do these comics fit in within the canon, where does the Dark Horse run, the Dynamite run, and Boom runs, where do those all fit into the main canon, and then try to add it all together. That could probably what they would do. But my guess is that the studios don't want to hire someone to, go through all this and just to figure out where their timeline is. And I just think that would be a shame, and it really wouldn't matter like what publishers they do, because Dynamite has reprinted trades of Dark Horse runs, and Boom has reprinted trades of Dynamite runs. So it doesn't matter what the publisher is, in my opinion. It's really more about who owns the rights to the intellectual property, or who has the licenses at that moment. Another reason would be that the studios do not know how to bring the extended or expanded universes into the canon. This isn't very hard to do. Star Wars has actually brought in some of the extended universe stuff from the comics, the video games, by having characters, locations, events, and ships and items being referenced or appearing in the TV shows and movies. One of the ships from Star Wars Rebels, the main ship, is actually can be seen in Rogue One. So that actually shows that there's a connection between the cartoon TV show, Rebels, and the standalone movies. And Rebels has, are in continuity with Clone Wars, so the TV show is now technically canon by fitting into that timeline. But we just don't know completely if they're just going to ignore that, or just only make references and not actually make it truly canon by having the characters actually really appear. But we'll just have to see. I think one of the stronger reasons why studios won't use the expanded universe would be difference in tones. The Toxic Avenger is an over-the-top, gross, rated R movie, superhero movie. It had a cartoon called Toxix Crusaders, but that was targeted more towards the younger audience. It only lasts for one season, and I think there was a short comic book run based on the TV show, printed, published by Marvel. Yeah, I think so. But I can understand why Troma wouldn't want to bring, Toxic Crusaders into the actual canon, because it wouldn't really fit with the tone with the rest of the franchise, and it just wouldn't make sense, because these characters, I guess, wouldn't appear in the other movies. I think there are 4 Toxic Avenger movies in total. I've only seen one. So yeah, that makes more sense than, just not wanting to use any of the expanded universe for just, not understanding how it fits in. The strongest reason would be that studios have already tried, bringing in, the expanded universe into the canon and make films on it. Examples would be the Predator franchise and AVP. Predator 2 was based on a comic book. AVP and AVP Requiem were both based on, crossovers, in the comics and the video games. And yet, those did not do well box office wise and with critics. We can see that, Predator 2 had a larger budget than Predator 1, but made a little bit over half the worldwide box office that the first Predator made. AVP, the first movie, made back its money at the box office, but was not liked by audiences and critics. And Requiem, had a lower budget than, the first AVP movie, but still made less profit than the first movie. So Hollywood probably took, as they usually do, the wrong lessons. Pretty much Predator 2 became a cult classic, gained a cult following, and the home video releases, the video cassettes and DVDs, were so high that 20th Century Fox said we should make another movie, and that's why Predators was made. AVP was rated PG-13. It did make back its money, but audiences and critics did not like it. And same thing with Requiem. It did make back its money technically, but was less profitable and was also hated by audiences and critics. Probably because it wasn't a very good movie. I think that Hollywood and the studios, if they're thinking about using some of the expanded universe, they look at the previous attempts and think that it wouldn't be the best idea, based on the track record. I think that the studios and the owners of these franchises and the intellectual properties should take the risk and using the expanded universe. But I think that's unlikely, because Hollywood just doesn't take any risks anymore, and I just think that unless it has a big name behind it, they won't even try it. I want to say thank you for listening. Sorry that the air conditioning came on a few times. And I want you to, well, tell me what you thought of the video, and do you agree with my points and where I can improve on them. Leave a comment down below. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to watch more of my content, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Again, I want to say thank you for watching and have a nice day.